I do share my lower points because I am human. I do keep my early podcast episodes up because of how, in my opinion, terrible I sound. But it's a reminder that you have to start somewhere. And if you think you peaked or you're locked in a path you can no longer enjoy, let's think outside the box. How can we pivot? What time is it? It is time for a mental health break. My name is Vincent A. Lanci, and I am excited to connect with you on another solo episode. And it's a time in the world where there's a lot of chaos, it may seem. But remember, and I know it's easier said than done, to focus on the things we can control. But with all this chaos, I know you are not alone if you are feeling world-weariness, right? Every time you turn on the TV, this feeling can come again. You read the newspaper, there's just a lot going on. And then the other area I'm going to touch on today is the decentralized identity crisis, right? In an era where we have professional personas, social media avatars, and optimized versions of ourselves, people are losing their core identity, and we're going to dive into the who am I when the screen is off later in this episode. We're brought to you today by Living Proof TBI Coaching, traumatic brain injury coaching for survivors, their families, and caregivers. Reach out to us on the show to be connected. Danica's email is podcastsbylanci@gmail.com. That's plural podcasts. And there is a specific kind of 2026 fatigue that comes from the constant cycle of global crisis, right? Climate, economy, conflict, political. You're not alone. And it's not clinical depression, but more of situational despair. Please reach out to us. Let us know how you're feeling with all of these variables. And remember, it's not just in your head. The world is heavy right now. So here is how to stay sane when the headlines seem to be designed at times to keep us terrified. The first, compassion fatigue. Why we feel numb to big news. It's again and again and again. But we need to remember that it's important to forgive ourselves for that numbness, right? It's not a direct cause from something we did or who we are as people. In life, as many ups and wins and good things that happen, things go down, right? What comes up must go down. So there are these challenging times, but a lot of it's outside our control. For some of us, we want to take a stance, use our voice a lot healthier than perhaps engaging with strangers on social media about these topics. If you want to use your voice, there's local governments, state governments, federal governments, right? Ways to make our voices heard. And when we see all of these overwhelming news stories, I challenge you to pivot to something that will make you smile. Checking out the news for a topic or events that you enjoy. Scrolling through pictures, right, from favorite memories with family and friends, or maybe vacations. Or even reaching out to people who we love and trust to have these conversations. Remember, we are never alone on our mental health journeys, and the people in our corners truly do want to help. Do not look at it as we are nagging someone or bothering someone. Our friends are our friends, our families are our families, and again, we all go through ups and downs, so use your voice and trust those people in your corner. For me, during sports seasons, I like to watch some of my favorite teams, take my mind off things when I'm not working. I love TV shows and books, right? As a writer, I love to see the stories unravel, and those are some things that work well for me. Be sure to let me know some things that work well for you, and I'll feature you on an episode. Next area we can look at, the sphere of influence. How can we shrink our focus back down to our neighborhoods and home to regain a sense of agency, right? Some of the things I just shared work well. For me, there's nothing like catching up with a friend or family member when it's been too long. That brings me back to that home base, that baseline, and helps me refocus the way I need to. Right? We're addressing identity, pressure, and purpose. These are the three pillars of mental health that feel most under attack right now. By going back to our baseline, right? Family, friends, pictures, hobbies, interests, we gain back that sense of identity. The pressure from the outside world will never end, right? When something ends, something else starts, it seems like. By remembering who we are and what we can control, right? Focusing on what we can control, that pressure may go away. Talking with someone always helps. Again, whether it's a professional or the family and friends I described, super important to keep active in your network. And then purpose, right? What is our purpose? This is going to look different for everyone. For me, it's getting behind the mic, recording these episodes, coaching, writing. These are things that help me find my purpose and help bring my mental health back to a baseline. As I continue these solo shows, if there's topics that you want me to cover, please don't be shy. I'm here to serve you, the amazing listeners and viewers. Let me know what I should talk about, and I'll do my best to make it happen. We can also receive our news from different sources, right? If we feel the news channels are overwhelming, or newspapers are overwhelming, or even social media, we can turn it off, right? No one is forcing us to be there. I'm a big advocate for social media timers. It's not the first time you've heard me say this, but I use them for many reasons. 1, not going down a rabbit hole during work hours. 2, not subjecting my brain to hate from strangers, topics, gossips that my time can be better spent because of the negative effects it will have on my mental health. Social media timers are awesome, right? They're free, so definitely try them out, and they do pay major dividends for keeping your mental health intact. But again, it's not just in your head. I want to reiterate that. We're dealing with compassion fatigue, right? That sphere of influence. But the advice is radical hope. A psychological framework can help you take action despite feeling it won't matter. Self-talk, it's oversaid but underused. And even for me, I used to feel silly with self-talk, right? But saying things every morning, even starting your day, I am worthy, and repeating it, I am worthy, I can do this, right? For me, God's got me. That may not apply to everyone depending on your beliefs, right? My family and friends are amazing. I am enough. I have the tools to succeed. I can do it. Those are just a few. And when you do that over a few days and it becomes a habit, you will see a world of difference. Remember to subscribe, everyone, to stay current with this podcast and the exclusive announcements, all the amazing interviews I can bring forward. You don't want to miss one. These episodes are a lot different than my interviews, right? Not just on length, but because you hear my voice the whole time, right? I'm sorry for that, but I think it is important to discuss certain topics as they come up, right? And of course, one was that eco-anxiety and world-weariness. Now I want to pivot into the decentralized identity crisis, right? I started out the show saying how people are losing their core identities. Let's dive back in. Who am I when the screen is off? A lot of us have spent years building brands or building social media profiles, but we may have forgotten how to build a soul. Let's talk about the exhaustion of performance. Here in America, it's go, go, go. Work is so highlighted and emphasized, but when I've done my traveling over the years, especially in areas like Asia, they don't have the same mentality. They remember to value family, friends, hobbies, time off, and prioritize that over monetary gains. It's a great perspective to have because for so long, building my companies, I was just behind the computer, sacrificing all of those things. And while it did pay major dividends, I lost a lot. I lost a lot of who I really am when that screen is off. Intentional days off, mental health breaks throughout the day, right? Doing things that I need to make sure that I don't forget who I am And while we're on those day adjustments, remember throughout your day, things you can do to insert less stress in your day is intentional walks. Big thing for me, a couple a day, especially after long stretches on the computer. The natural sunlight, the natural noises, these things help me so much, and I hope they do for you too. Even productive breaks if you work remote like me. Scheduling in laundry, dishes, right? Instead of things that will take you out of the zone and may not be beneficial to your workday. The last one I'll touch on here before I talk about the performance tax, identity foreclosure, some more advice, is time blocking. Another area you've heard me say before. Before bed each night, I time block the hours of my operation and my day, and it takes away my anxiety because I know exactly what to expect. Now, there may be cancellation, things change, but when you do a time audit, you see how much more time you have and how much you're wasting, where you then can insert things to get that identity back. If you're a former athlete like me, having a baseball catch with my little cousin, those are things that you can insert in your day too. So I hope that is getting your brain going, giving you some ideas. But let's dive into the first one here. The performance tax. The mental cost of maintaining different versions of yourself for different platforms. My brand may have had slower growth because I never believed in living on social media, right? I touched on the social media timers and some reasons I don't use social media as much as others, but let's not try to have these different versions of ourselves and be authentic. Even editing podcasts, right? The recovering perfectionist, like many entrepreneurs are. I used to try to chop and screw every little thing to sound perfect when in reality, if someone knocks on the door, I can now say, hey, don't you just really wish that this wouldn't happen, right? Don't you hate when you get interrupted when someone knocks on the door? Let me know if this has happened to you. It's a cool way to include my audience and get to know some of my listeners, right? Or the dog barking. Oh my gosh. Roscoe won't stop barking today. I'm sorry. Do you have a dog that interrupts you? Let me know how that is. Instead of trying to be perfect, just try to be yourself. There's a huge performance tax of that on your mental health. Now let's pivot to this a little further, the identity foreclosure. Why many people feel like they've peaked or locked in a path they can no longer enjoy. Social media is a big game of a lot of people showing only who they are at their best selves, right? The highlights. While I do some of that, I do share my lower points because I am human. I do keep my early podcast episodes up because of how, in my opinion, terrible I sound. But it's a reminder that you have to start somewhere. And if you think you peaked or you're locked in a path you can no longer enjoy, let's think outside the box. How can we pivot? How can we grow something under the same umbrella? For me, it was writing books, hosting podcasts. Then it came ghostwriting and book coaching, and then helping other people start podcasts. It started with me speaking to share my story, and then a mental health break podcast, then my Healthy Minds book series books. Now, with Living Proof TBI coaching, I'm able to still not feel stuck and continue to evolve. On social media, if everybody else is trying to look their best, you play this compare game. And remember, there are no journeys that can be compared to one another. None start the same. None have the same experiences, the same resources, right? So just compete with yourself. And I can promise you, which I don't do much, but promise you a happier day because you're competing with yourself to try to find more ways to be happy. And that will unlock new ideas in your head on how to do just that. If you're feeling stuck too, network. You can always reach out to me. People in your network. Have honest conversations to see what can come from it so you can find enjoyment again. The final area I'm going to touch on here is some advice. An identity audit, where we strip away external expectations to find your internal compass again. This can be done many ways. One can be writing it down. Things that make you happy. Things that don't make you happy, things I love most about my day, things I dislike most about my day, things I'm looking forward to, things that are coming up I'm not looking forward to. Writing things down can make a world of difference, and it can help you really strategize on how to get back to a happy self. I was a finance MBA guy. I thought I wanted the corner office job title, all the things in between. And then I got it, and I found the least fulfillment in my life. While money makes a lot of things much easier, money itself, more money that I had been making, was not a direct correlation to happiness. So I took that difficult step into entrepreneurship, right? 1 foot in, 1 foot out for so long, and I never looked back. We touched on a lot today, and I hope you found value in the areas I shared. So please remember to subscribe to stay current, but also share this episode with someone who may find value. We talked about this world weariness, right? How we have political conflicts, economic issues, climate issues, right? There's so much that we are not directly responsible for in many ways and that we can't control, but I shared some ways we can. But remember, let's find ways to move ourselves from feeling numb to big news and forgiving ourselves to that numbness, right? Using our sphere of influence, get back to our baseline, back down to our neighborhood and regain a sense of agency. And then some framework I shared, right? A psychological framework, how we talk to ourselves, how we think of ourselves for taking action despite feeling like it won't matter because it will. This is even with exercise. If I fall off, okay, let's do 10 sit-ups. Tomorrow we'll do 15, then 20, and going up inch by inch. This decentralized identity crisis is another area you're not alone, right? We're trying to just do the best we can. But we want to make sure that who we are off the screen is what brings us joy, because if we're lying to ourselves, there will be no joy. Don't worry, again, if you feel alone, because you're not alone when you feel the exhaustion of performance, right? That mental cost of having different versions of ourselves, but we want to try to bring them to a center and forefront to be ourselves and authentic at all times. We never peak. We're never locked in. We just have to challenge ourselves to get creative and think outside the box. My name is Vincent A. Lanci, and I want to thank you so much for keeping this a top 5% global show. I look forward to coming back soon with another solo episode. And again, I'd love to hear which topics you want me to discuss. I value your feedback and your input because this show is not possible without you. Please reach out to us at podcasts, that's plural podcasts, podcastsbylanci@gmail.com, or you can DM me at Vincent A. Lanci on any social media platform. Whew. I am ready to sign off here, but first, let me preview quickly what to expect in the coming episodes because we've got a lot of great stuff coming our way. So we've got this solo episode, right? Then we're bringing on Naomi, which is great because she started on That Entrepreneur Show interview and I learned her mental health story. Then we're going with Adrian, a guest in TBI Recovery, my latest book, a mental health champion who's been on the show before. I love bringing back fan favorites. Then we've got Johnny Crowder of Cope Notes, mental health champion who started with a dream and now has a worldwide difference he's made. And then, of course, we've got Tommy Bryan coming back, the emotional intelligence expert. Subscribe so you don't miss any of these. Share this with a friend who may find value. And with that, we're signing off today, right here on A Mental Health Break. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. I would love to hear your feedback. What did you love? What do you want to see more of? Are there any questions you would like me to ask the guests who come on the show? This show is not possible without you, the amazing listeners, so please email us at podcastsbylanci@gmail.com and let us know what you think. We'll also feature you on a later show. Please remember to subscribe to stay current with our amazing community of guests who will continue to come on the show, sprinkled in with solo episodes from me, Vincent A. Lanci. With that, I look forward to introducing more shows to you each and every week. And with that, we're signing off today. Enjoy the episodes and make it a great day ahead.